Good morning, I'm Annie Larkin, Associate Curator of Public Programs at the Amerind Museum, and welcome to Amerind Virtual Autumn Fest featuring the music of Sihasin. Amerind Virtual Autumn Fest is possible this year through the generous support of sponsors Sterling Investments, Arizona G&T Cooperatives, and the Arizona Commission on the Arts. Thank you to these organizations for enabling Amerind to provide this free online programming to our audience. Thank you also to our members and donors who not only make this type of programming possible, but Amerind's mission to promote the knowledge and understanding of Native peoples of the Americas through research, education, conservation, and community engagement. To learn how you can assist Amerind in supporting its mission by becoming a member or donor, please visit amerind.org. Amerind Virtual Autumn Fest will feature Indigenous artists and performers from throughout Southwest today and on Saturday, October 24th. In addition to our concert by Sihasin, we will have a performance by Mary Redhouse at 11:30, as well as Salon Art and Sales with Jerry Kotzquiva, and at 1:30, Priscilla Tacchini at 3 p.m. Next Saturday, October 24th, we will have another incredible day of programming with performances by Tony Duncan and Gabriel Ayala, along with Salon Art and Sales with Raquel Kemp, Troy Seiss, and Ray Slate. You can join us by watching the programs live on Facebook or registering to view the events on Zoom. And for more information about how you can register for these programs, check the events section of Amerind's website or Facebook page. During the last several months, we have all been enduring a world altered by the COVID-19 pandemic, and many of the artists and musicians featured in Virtual Autumn Fest have been negatively impacted by this financially, as they have not had venues to sell their art or perform their music. We at Amerind ask that, if able, you please support these talented people through purchase of their works of art or music, or provide gratuity. Through your support, you can make a direct impact in the lives of artists and musicians. This morning, we hope that you will support the work of Sihasin through a purchase of their music at sihasin.com. That is SIHASIN.com, or generously provide gratuity via PayPal at TACOHO@blackfire.net. This information will also be posted in the comment section of Facebook Live, the Facebook Live video feed, and sent in an email to our Zoom registrants. All right, so for 3 decades, brother and sister Jeneda and Clayson Benally have been recording and touring, bringing their empowering, organic, conscious-raising charged music to communities throughout Europe and North America. With their musical project Sihasin, the multi-award-winning musicians from the Navajo Nation create an explosive duo just of bass, drums, and vocals with traditional Navajo backbone bridging folk, rock, world pop, and a little punk. Sihasin's music reflects hope for equality, health, and respectful communities, as well as social environmental justice. Jeneda and Clayson leave their audiences with an exhilarating feeling of hope and respect and cultural appreciation. And with that, I want to turn it over and say thank you to Jeneda and Clayson for sharing their talent with our audience today.
Yeah, greetings. We are so happy to be able to be here to share with you in this capacity. I know it's a new day with technology, but we're going to take it back a little bit to our traditions and to the beauty that our people have carried forward.
And we're so honored, being here multi-generationally at the beautiful Amerind Museum in the amazing, rocks of Dragoon. And I definitely want to encourage you all, after quarantine, after the pandemic, when all of this has subsided, please visit this amazing museum that has, I think, one of the most amazing libraries ever.
Hello.
So thank you for joining us. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Sihasin Clayson Benally Diné. Shema Bilagana Be'ethachi Dawayaki, Ada Shuja Diné. Torich ini, Anani Torich ini Bashashin, Ada Naka Diné at Dashinella. Zithajin, Date Ayusina Shah, Ada Conthene Isha Hawan. Thank you for joining us. This is my sister, Shade.
Diné, and we're so honored that you're here with us. So, yeah. As many of you may not understand what my brother said, he introduced himself in our traditional manner. And we always, as Diné people, it's important for us to recognize our relationships with who we're related to, how we're related to each other. And that's a strong part of who we are as Diné people. And I just want to talk a little bit about those songs, because I know we're in a museum. We're not museum pieces, but we are today giving a museum performance. And with that said, I always feel like we have the opportunity to give a little bit more education into our edutainment that we normally give. So, you know, just going back to those songs, those rhythms that Clayson was playing earlier, that rhythm, those are our traveling songs. And when
They're
we're
also recognized as our riding songs, because these are songs that are connected with the horse. And when we travel, before there were cars or any planes, trains, automobiles, this was the main method, was traveling via horse.
And if for any of you horse riders out there, you may have recognized those rhythms. We're on our horses right now. So as you are traveling via the World Wide Web, the internet, here to our Hogan, we invite you to settle in and open your mind, open your heart, and we're excited to be able to share who we are as contemporary Diné musicians.
I think we're gonna, as we're traveling, we're here in the four sacred mountains under the shadow of Deko'osli. For us, that means shining on top. This is one of our sacred mountains that is the western doorway for our Hogan, for our pillars of our universe as Diné. More people kind of recognize us as Navajo, but we call ourselves Diné, the people. And this is a song called Sheh Nasha. This is a social song about how I am walking in beauty. There's beauty before me. I'm walking on this beautiful land. And it's such a beautiful song. It's part of our, I think people recognize it almost as a Navajo national anthem, but welcome to our region, to our home. And this is, the last one was based on traveling via that means of horse. This one is the walking song. Hey, hey, hojona yahi neya shikeya hojona konisha shikeya hojona konisha shenesha 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 hojona yahi neya shiteche hojona konisha shiteche hojona konisha shenesha 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 hojona yahi neya shikeshta hojona konisha shikeshta hojona konisha shenesha 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 hojona yahi neya ahla ahla konisha ahla ahla konisha shenesha 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 hojona yahi neya. Now we're going to take you to our home in Black Mesa, where we were impacted by forced relocation by some of the worst atrocities. And today, many of our families are still resisting. And this is that song about how we are connected to this earth. This is our mother. She's a living, breathing entity. And it's important to recognize, to acknowledge the land. We just had Indigenous Peoples Day just a few days ago to celebrate and honor and recognize not only the contributions that as Indigenous that we've brought to this world, but the fact that we're still here, we're resilient, we carry on, and it's been a struggle to be here, to be able to sing our songs, to carry forward. And this is our contemporary music that we want to introduce you to, because there's been almost this struggle, this battle between tradition and contemporary. But this is who we are as Indigenous people today. We're still here, we're still alive, carrying it forward. It's called Child of Fire.
dead, dehydrated. We're one drop of part of this ocean. Protector of soil from corporations. I am a child of this water. Oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, da, ya, hey, ha. Oh, hey, ah, ya, hey, da, hey, oh, hey, oh. Oh, hey, ah, ya, hey, da, hey, oh, hey, ah, hey, da, ya, hey, ha. Oh, hey, ah, ya, hey, da, hey, oh, hey, oh. I am child of the cell, lost in the nation. Cells apart, waves of radiation. Exhale this carbon emission. Like a hurricane, race transmitted. I am a child of the cell. Oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey.
So thank you so much for being with us again. We're so honored. And I think we're having some technical issues with my bass, I think, is cutting out. And being that this is Zoom and this is live and this is the state of I think, of performing now, is that sometimes, sometimes instruments and sometimes technology work, and sometimes they don't. I think, you know, Clayson, what I'd like to do is try a song that is a little more soft, a little more gentle on the bass, and let's see if we can get that to come through. So this song is called Gentler Than Night.
All right. With this song, there's a lot of beauty to it, but there's a very deep, strong story. This was written by this amazing woman named Brianna LaPruitt, and it addresses some of the challenges that I think many people face, not just as Indigenous people, but when we talk about suicide and being there for our families. Right now, I know it's hard to be there to support when we're in quarantine, when we're separate.
We're socially distancing.
And this song, I know it's hard to talk about the whole extent. There's a lot of emotion to it for us, but this song, it just, I want to send it out to all those people that are isolated and that have been keeping their quarantine and trying to stay safe and healthy, and to protect those that are vulnerable, and to those that can't be with their family when they have loss and that grief. So we want to just take a moment to send this song to you, to your family, to your loved ones. It's called Gentler Than Night.
And we'll just play the song a little bit softer. Hopefully all the instrumentation cuts through.
I need to bring up just here. Don't forget back us on the drums. Bring it up just here.
Last time it cut out when we did that. Thank you for being here with our live performance, where it certainly is live. Lay down your body, breathe it all straight. It's not how to make it right do it gentler than night. Way to make you right, gentler than night. Lean on your heart, lean on the wind, lean on your spirit, lean on. Gentler than night, gentler than night. Let it make you right. It's gentler than night. Let it make you right. It's gentler than night. Lay down your hoodie. Breathe in all straight. It's not hard to make you right. Do it gentler than night. Ooh, let it make you right. Gentler than night. Lean on your home, lean on the wind, lean on your spirit, lean on it. Gentler than night, gentler than night, let it make you right. It's gentler than night, let it make you right. It's gentler than night. Lay down your woe. It's really not your woe. Keep love inside. Be gentler than night. Be gentler than night. Be gentler than night. Ooh, way to make you right. Ooh, gentler than night. Let it make you right. It's gentler than night. Let it make you right. It's gentler than night. Let it make you right. It's gentler than night. Let it make you right. So I hope with that gentle sound, with our music being just above a whisper, I hope that everything came through this time. And
Let's try a straight up a cappella version of Strong Together.
woo!
Then we're gonna bring out some special guests. We've got our Father Jones Benally, who's gonna join us, and we're gonna share some dances as well. But this song, I know right now, when we think about who we are as people, as a nation, as brothers, as sisters, when we talked first and established our kinship, our this is our way of introducing and shaking hands, of greeting and extending respect. Today, we see a lot of imbalance and people that do not want to communicate, that don't want to shake hands, that don't want to extend that respect, that mutual fellowship that we have as humans, not just to our people, but we're talking about to the plants, to the animals, the water, the air, all these things that are sacred. So we recognize that we are part of this world. We are not separate from this. We are all together. We are strong together. And this is that message that we need to hear right now, that everybody needs to hear and listen to, is that regardless of politics, of where you stand, we all come from this earth. We are brothers, we are sisters. Some people are grandparents, some people are children, but we are part of that circle and we need to respect each other.
And with that said, we're going to invite you right now to help be the instrumentation. I think that my bass is so powerful that it's overloading everything. So we're going to invite you to be part of that instrumentation, you know, whether it's like clapping, whether
We want you
it's
to get up
snapping
and
fingers.
move and feel energized. So here we go.
We can, we will, we are strong together. We can, we will, We are strong together. We can. We will. We are strong together. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, na 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 na. It wasn't always perfect, but nothing ever is. Seems like it's been forever since it all began. My hand extends to yours. Meet halfway, a dangerous kind of silence. We shall overcome. We can. We will. We are strong together. We can. We will. We are strong together. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Compassion's not a weakness. Not about you or me. Our push and pull confrontation. Let's cut the strings. Is it all or nothing? Nothing's as a sin. When we stand together, we shall overcome. We can. We will. We are strong together. 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 Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. The lead pushed down, someone around and got shot down the lane. Pushed down, someone around and got shot down the lane. Pushed down, someone around and matter. Shot down the lane. Pushed down, someone around and got shot down.
In this together. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
Oh, na 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 na. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, strong together. Na 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 na.
Na 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 na. Time is of the essence.
Don't let it slip away. 365 reasons. Hey, now it's today. Let's start from the beginning. Create a better dream. Say, can't you see? Together we shall overcome.
We can.
We will. We are strong together. We can. We will. We are strong together.
We need your help.
We
Use your
will.
voices.
We are
Don't
strong
be silent.
together.
Don't be afraid.
We can. We will. We are strong together. We can. We will.
We are strong together.
We can. We will. We are strong together. We can. We will.
We are strong together.
We can. We will. Strong together. We can. We will. Strong together. We can. We will. Strong together.
Yeah, I think we did pretty good on that one. It was kind of unrehearsed. We had to strip things away. And this is how we proceed as Indigenous people, because sometimes life deals you a kind of not the best hands, but you make do with what you have and persevere. On our YouTube page, we've got all kinds of beautiful teachings and things that our father, Jones Benally, shares, and a lot of our cultural teachings and heritage. I think that for us is very much a part of the solution to the challenges that we face today. That, planting corn, having sheep, having a connection to our earth, a place to call home, having those roots. So with that, I want to bring our father, Jones Benally, and we're going to share some dances. I know he was supposed to get the rest of the group together. Shija, Hakko. I think we're going to do the hoop dance.
I know we're going to do the hoop dance. So our father, I'm going to brag a little bit because I love my daddy, and our daddy is in his somewhere around his 90s. We're not exactly sure, and I know that you were all going to ask that in the Q&A afterwards, and so I'm telling it now, so that way we don't have 20 people saying, "How old is your dad?" So he is in his early 90s, and we actually don't know how old he is, but he's my dad doesn't have his hearing aid in. Dad. Oh, yeah. He says, "Oh, he was prepared to do something else." Anyhow, Clayson, a little bit about our father is that he is he's recognized as being an American Indian treasure in the state of Arizona, a Native American treasure, and also he is, I think, the oldest hoop dancer that is still dancing, and he was recognized by the World Hoop Dance Competition as a way, and this is what I personally think, what we heard is that many of the hoop dancers were, coming from all over the place. And I'm sure some of you have been to the Heard Museum and had the privilege of watching so many generations from so many people carry on our traditional ways. And so people were coming from all over, and they would see our father in the senior category, because mind you, the senior category is only, I think, 45 years old. So it's very young.
I thought it was 40.
Is it 40?
It's 40
okay.
For the golden age in senior division.
So our father would come with his beautiful traditional willow-made hoops, and he's old enough to be the great-grandfather of some of the people in the senior division, and they would see that our dad was signed up for the competition, and out of respect, so many of them who traveled so far decided to not compete, because they wanted to recognize the art and the mastery that our father Jones Benally still carries on.
Talk about the true importance and the meaning of this dance before Jones comes out. For us, this hoop is not made of plastic. This is made out of willow. It's something that's very fragile, and this dance is particularly done for our people only in the wintertime. It's part of a ceremony called the fire dance, and on the 9th night, the holy night, the participant, the person that is a patient, they're receiving a singing over. There's medicine practitioners and people that come from all over, and they bring their medicine, their different styles of dance to heal that patient. And this one, these hoops come from Hachorje, from the Gosway ceremony, the blackening ceremony. And each of those hoops has many different representations from the east, south, west, and north. And it's to remove any negativity, sickness, illness, all those things that were affected by that patient. And the dancer, they are a healer. They're the ones that serve the medicine to the patient. And there's a lot of history to this dance. Unfortunately, there aren't many people carrying this on today in the ceremonial context. It's become more recognized as a competition. But this is an old dance that we've carried on in our family from generation upon generation. Some people say it originated, the hoop dance, in the Taos Pueblo area maybe 90 years ago or so. But I know my dad, or 80 plus years ago, my dad's a little bit older than when they say that it it started, and this is the style that we've been carrying on. There are many different styles, and I want to recognize and acknowledge all those. They're very beautiful, but this is a very particular one that is very special for healing, and that's why it's important to talk about that hoop and the sacredness of it. It represents birth, life, all those stages, and comes back when you're an elder and brings that connection back to the youth again. So that's part of that healing journey. And these songs that we sing, there's a lot of different social songs, and these are specific for hoop dance and for social styles of dance that can be shared in public. So this is not a ceremony that we're performing. This is just a demonstration so you can understand and see what is still being carried on, especially with the grace and beauty of our elders. So just want to acknowledge our elders and what their accomplishments are and how we proceed in this day. This is the Diné Kejiko Nazbas Dalajish, the Navajo hoop dance.
Please welcome Jones Benally. Benally! I applaud you. Yeah. So at this time, I think we'd like to open up if there's any questions that anybody has while I move my microphone over here.
All right, that was absolutely fantastic. Thank you all so much. And a performance by your father, what a treat for our audience. We really appreciate that. We will be taking questions now. If you have a question in either our Facebook audience or our Zoom audience, please type those in the Q&A for Zoom or the comments section on Facebook, and we will make sure that they are asked. And so our first question is, at what age did you two start playing music?
Would you like to answer that, Clayson?
I guess I could. So at the age of probably 10 is when I first started picking up drums, but we started singing and dancing, they say, before we could walk. We grew up with our father traveling. He was recognized going back at a young age, going back to the boarding school era by one of his grandfathers, Chief Wolf Rope Hunt. They started traveling all throughout the United States, and then pretty soon going with the State Department all throughout the world. And it was part of the boarding school, a program where they wanted to sell and advertise American goods. So at a young age, rather than going into the boarding school system and having language, culture beaten out of him in particular, he was blessed that they recognized that he had this knowledge. He didn't go to school until he was about 20. So when he came to Riverside, California, they started taking him and traveling, and he recognized that our culture and language is important and has value, and started sharing that. You know, I think that's where the word edutainment really comes in. I think that's more recognized today, but back then it was recognized as the Buffalo Bills Wild West show or different forms. So we grew up going in the Buffalo Bills Wild West show, performing there with Charlie Daniels, with all kinds of amazing artists and performers sharing culture, but also later, you know, also in the powwow arena, using traditional forms of dance in that capacity, but then learning our ceremonies, our songs, singing at home, helping our families with song. The word hatrat in our language means to be a healer, to be a singer. So that's part of where that ability is, to learn how to sing and use your voice. And that was transformed later when we were in our, for me, I was about 10 and into rock and kind of even into punk.
For sure, punk. That's the very short answer, by the way, of when we started playing music. We all, luckily, you know, we gravitated towards different instruments, and we didn't have the idea growing up that we wanted to start a band. And I think it's just so organic, so ingrained in who we are, you know, coming from our father, who is a medicine man, who is a Hatathli, and singing all night at ceremonies with him. But also our mother, Berta Benally, is an amazing singer-songwriter as well. And so with, I think with those two kind of, you know, musical worlds coming together, I think it was just natural for us. So I don't know that we actually had a start date of playing music, but we, yeah, I don't know if we had a start date. It just happened.
Well, I also like to add that it's different when you grow up, and the drum for me is part of my voice. I never went through a formal Western educational process, or I don't think Jeneda ever really studied. We just started playing. We picked up the instrument and we learned to listen, to communicate through our instrument, which is different than when you learn to read note by note. So I never considered myself a musician. It's just something that I do. It's just part of that communication that is natural for all of us as people.
I ditto that.
Okay, and the next question is, I guess for your father, or regarding your father, has he been teaching younger dancers?
Yes.
The question is Jones teaching younger dancers? He doesn't have his hearing aid, and if we brought him up here, I think it might be a little confusing.
But I'd like to answer that as well. And I'm hoping that our father will as well. So yes, part of what we are talking about with the being honored with the World Hoop Dance Competition was that our father has mentored so many young hoop dancers, and that was something that the Heard Museum wanted to recognize him for. We also dance with our traditional dances, and we performed at the Amerind Museum pre-pandemic, and hope to again one day with our traditional dances. And he is also teaching his grandchildren.
I would like to say that the hoop dance is only a small little fraction. The ceremonies, the songs, the prayers, the herbs, the knowledge of the stars, the universe, all of this is something that is threatened and endangered. So carrying that on and passing that to the next generation, that is of the great most importance. So
yeah. And Dad, you've been teaching singing the songs and medicine to your grandchildren too. And that's
what? Yeah.
So are you in your lifetime, have you taught a lot of young people how to dance?
Well, when I was young, I teach a lot of young people, or you go to school in the state there with this boarding school and teaching 2 weeks. Then we go on the show all over the reservation. So all different kind of outfit. See, the main things, what we carry on, traditional way, not on the paper, but the bottom of our heart. We teach our kids, grandkids, and then all the young people, and to learn traditional way, or song, or pray, or the medicine. When he gets sick, go on the mat and find the medicine, and to take medicine, he get well. Nowadays, it's modern way, it's changed a lot.
So yes, he has been teaching his whole life. And I think that as, I just want to add in my very opinionated way, that I feel like so many of us as Indigenous people today who still carry on our cultures are by default, in a sense, teachers, that we teach about our cultures in a way that that lends itself to to building community, to building respect for us as Indigenous people. So much of our history, of course, so much of not our history, I should say, has been written in history books, and so much of it from our people, our oral traditions, hasn't been taught as much, hasn't been written or filmed as much, and that's all changing. That's all changing due to, you know, technology like this that makes our stories a whole lot more accessible.
All right, the next question is, what are each of your favorite Diné songs or song, or one that you'd like to sing live?
Whatever, our favorite Diné songs. There's one I was actually hoping that we could do today, and this is the time of year where we are planting, we harvested, and we've come together in celebration. And there's a lot of confusion about this particular song. A lot of people think it's Ye'ibiche song, and there's a relation between it because Ye'ibiche, or night way chant ceremony, it's based on, I have to mute this, sorry. But it's based on a lot of the principles of corn and when you're planting. So this song is a song of celebration when we come together. Everybody has worked together and planted. When I was young, we had a huge cornfield, and it was amazing that everybody came together, that we worked together. We had big herds of sheep. Everybody come together in the spring, shear, move from one household to the next. And in my lifetime, I'm only 43 years of age.
He just actually celebrated his birthday.
But I had to think about that for a moment. I'm only 43 years young, but I've seen all of our herds diminish in size from hundreds to now where there's maybe one or two or just a few, and not enough to sustain a whole family. But these songs, this particular one is a dance, a celebration where everybody would come together. They call it the Navajo gourd dance.
And I think that this is going to be one of my favorite songs too, because so many of our songs, so many of our teachings weren't passed on because of the boarding school generation. So a lot of that knowledge was lost. And so for us, it's a way to reintroduce, reinvigorate our social songs as well. And we are, you know, celebrating our Diné New Year right now with the moon cycle and the transitions. And so this is one of those songs that is,
it's threatened, it's endangered.
It is an endangered song.
Don't sing this. This is not a song for you to sing. This is only for ceremony. No, this is absolutely appropriate. This is part of our way of celebrating and giving thanks back to the earth, to the water, to the moisture. We didn't have much rain. This year was very hard. What little we have, you know, we're still going to carry that seed forward. We're going to grind that. We're going to use that corn to pray with and bless our path. But these are our social songs. This is a song for everybody to come together, especially at this time of year. So this is a beautiful song. A lot of history to it. Oh, 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 yeah, yeah, oh, oh, yeah, 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 oh, wait, oh, 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 yeah, oh, 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 yeah, 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 oh, 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 yeah. Oh, oh, oh,
Thank you for asking that question. Yeah, Shija.
Well, thank you so much for sharing the morning with us. We really appreciate you coming through to us via Zoom with your time and talent. I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today to spend with you, but hopefully we'll see you again in the near future, if online, hopefully in person at Amerind. I'd like to thank our audience for joining us. And again, our sponsors, Sterling Investments, Arizona G&T, and the Arizona Commission on the Arts. And again, we ask if you are able to please support these talented folks through a purchase of their music or by providing gratuity. You can find information on how to do so in the comments of our Facebook video, as well as in the email that will be sent to all of our Zoom participants. You can visit sihasin.com for some of that fabulous music you just heard, or send gratuity via PayPal at tacoho@blackfire.net. Well, thank you both. We really appreciate it, and I hope you have a lovely day.
Yeah, thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it. And there's an amazing schedule of events today and next weekend, so we invite you to celebrate and learn about our cultures here in the beautiful Southwest.
Oh, Ikehama, and definitely stick around for Mary Redhouse. She is coming up next.
Woo!
That's right. Mary Redhouse is at 11:30. So hopefully our audience will tune in for that too. Well, take care, everyone, and have a wonderful day. Bye.
Yeah.